Hey everybody, it's Scott here. Welcome to the Gear Rules channel. Today we're doing a really cool product review on the Houbei. The Houbei is a minimalist leather wallet that is handmade by the company Open Sea Leather. Now they're actually based out of Honolulu, Hawaii, where they just opened up their first retail store. I was lucky enough to get a chance to communicate with the owner and founder, Michael Bluth, who is a Navy veteran. When we were talking, he told me that throughout his life he's fallen in love with the endless possibility of the open sea. He also told me that earlier in his life he did a mission trip to El Salvador. In that country he actually had his shoes worked on by a cobbler, and there he kind of found his interest in leather making and working with crafts. I really hope you guys enjoy this review, and before we do the review, I'm going to show you guys their website, show you all the cool stuff that they have working. And if you like this review, please like this video and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Let's go ahead and get into the review. Alright guys, so we're going to get into the pros and cons of this wallet here in just a second, but I just wanted to quickly highlight Open Sea Leather's website. It is osleather.com, and I'll be leaving a link for this down in the description below. So they have several different series of wallets. They all have, a similar style to them, but slight variations, as well as some same-day shippers, which are already kind of pre-made, singular toned that ship out right away, as the name implies, as well as some different accessories. So the Houbei is actually a member of the Topsider series, and mine is singular toned, but you can actually customize this wallet to two different tones, and you can really play around with it. And there's a lot of colors here, and if you don't know what some of these colors are or what they look like, they have a little guide down below, which is super cool, as well as the different thread styles. So really cool stuff going on here, beautifully designed, handmade stuff. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about the wallet that I have, which is the singular toned Houbei wallet. Alright, so we're going to get started with an overview of this wallet, and then we'll start talking about the pros and cons. And a lot of things we talk about with this Houbei wallet is going to apply to a lot of the wallets because they're all similar styles and materials. So the first thing you'll notice here is the Open Sea Leather logo, which I really like. I like that it's not super noticeable, and it seems to kind of fade into the leather over time, which is super cool. Next thing you'll notice is the leather here. It wears, like most leather does. You can see the scratch marks, but they're not like super obvious. And if you have a leather repair kit or you kind of work it with your fingers, it is not noticeable. You'll notice this corner here has pretty much nowhere because it's behind this flap, and this is kind of what it looks like brand new, versus this other side that has more scratches on it. And I carry this for over a month, so this wallet has a lot of life left in it. Now the leather is actually not that thick. It's about a 1/16 inch thick leather, which is really important because there's a lot of folds on the bottom of this wallet, and so it keeps the overall thickness of this wallet very, very thin, coming in at about 1/3 of an inch at the thickest point without anything in it. So that's pretty awesome, keeps it nice and minimal. So now we'll kind of talk about the general features of this wallet. There's this big flap that tucks in underneath this small little flap, and it all kind of has like a triangle pattern to it, which I really like. It's appealing to the eyes. Now there is this threading, and this bottom thread here actually doesn't exist in the Houbei 2.0, which is awesome, and it'll make it a lot stronger and less likely to break over time. Now speaking of this threading, it is very strong. It's Ritza 25 Tiger thread, which is used a lot in the industry. It's a wax polyester, and it seems like the knots terminate in the inside of the wallet, which should give it some added durability. Now the last comment on the threading is it seems to kind of age and weather with the wallet, which I think gives it a really nice kind of vintage feel to it. So how does the wallet actually get used? So the first part is these slots here. So how they work is you just slide in whatever you're going to slide in, and this last slot, like I said, is for the actual leather flap. And then there's an outside pocket that is used for maybe something you use very often. Now, how the wallet seems like it's supposed to be used is people actually take their cash and slide it in long ways. This makes for a very unique way to actually carry the cash in your wallet. So when you actually turn down this leather flap, the money turns with it. And so if you go to take out your cash, it's all kind of right there, and you can pull it out when necessary, if you prefer to do it that way. I personally didn't know about this and actually did a tri-fold method and slid it into the back. This makes the wallet overall a little bit thicker, but then you don't have to deal with those dollars kind of flopping around when you open it up. And I typically don't carry cash that often, so that was my method. So let's add some cards in here. We got 6 or so cards. How I would typically do it is I would slide the cards into the right side. Even though this wallet is a little bit wider, you can slide it to different sides. I like to kind of just push it all onto one side. So there are a couple sleeves here, so I add a couple more cards here and continuing to slide it onto the right side, and we got 4 cards in there now. So we'll go ahead and slide it. And for the back card, I usually put my most often used card in here. Now it is a leather wallet, so I always use an RFID blocker card with a card that someone might be able to steal my information, and I just kind of slide those two together. I usually do this with all the leather wallets that I'm carrying. I have a data blocker card to give me that extra level of security. And so that's basically the wallet. Now we can kind of start talking about the pros and cons. We'll start with the size. I really like the size of this wallet. It is, very similar in size to a regular billfold with the similar amount of cards. It does take up a slightly smaller floor print, but it really is thinner. You can really notice the thinness to it compared to, your standard billfold wallet. Another pro that I've already kind of touched on throughout this video is I just really like the way it looks. You can see the logo there just faintly. It's got a cool styling to it. And it's nice and compact. It keeps all your cards together. You're not going to have any cards fall out of your wallet. The only one you'd be worried about, this one here in the back, and it fits very snugly within your wallet. And this is with only 6 cards in your wallet. Now I did mention that this bottom stitch here is not on the Houbei, but you still have this exterior flap on the 2.0. So the other pro that I have here is the separation of flaps and kind of the way this triangular shape is. I think it looks really, really nice. It's very visually appealing, and I like separating cards that maybe I don't use and putting in the back pocket. And the cards I use a little bit more frequently I'll have in the front one. That makes things easy, and you can separate them out in like credit cards versus IDs. And like I said, you can stagger them, which kind of gives it an overall flatter feel to it if you're wanting to do that. So now we'll kind of talk about the cons, and I really don't have a lot of cons for this wallet. The one thing that I am not a big fan of, if you do use the cash the way that I've seen a lot of people use it, it tends to flop around a little bit more than what I would prefer. And there's different ways you can mitigate this, but you can see the cash kind of just flops around. And if you have a lot of cash, it could be annoying. But it could be useful if you're someone that wants a specific bill. This can be mitigated by tri-folding it, or even just folding it in half and slipping it in the back there. I found that's a pretty useful way to use this wallet. And like I said, I don't carry a lot of cash around. So the only other con, which really isn't that much of a con, is it seems like this wallet has some unused space. So if you slide everything to the right like I tend to do, there's definitely a gap. And obviously this wallet is the specific width to fit the width of cash and probably receipts. And so I'm just kind of nitpicking here. But if you do tri-fold and put all the cards to one side, you kind of have this unused space. And they do have other wallets that are thinner, but I think this wallet itself could be a little bit thinner and still have, a similar design. But like I said, I'm just nitpicking. I think this is a really awesome wallet. I really love the owner's story, and they're made in Hawaii. So you gotta love the American-made product, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I think the pros definitely outweigh any cons, and they're very affordable for what you're getting. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, and feel free to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I will catch you guys on the next video, and until then, enjoy your open sea.
Let's take it out.